The opinions expressed on this program represent the viewpoints of individual authors or contributors and do not necessarily reflect those of Troy University. This is Alabama Politics with Steve Flowers, an in-depth interview with Alabama's top political newsmakers. Now, from the studios of Troy University, here is Steve Flowers.
I'm Steve Flowers, and welcome to Alabama Politics. Folks, we're fortunate tonight to have as our guest Andrew Sorrell, who is a state auditor for Alabama and a good friend of mine, good guy. He's a young guy. He's nice to hang around old guys like me. Anyway, we're glad to have Andrew on the show. He's current state auditor, like I say. He's running for Secretary of State. I told him before the show, his job he's got now hadn't got but 2 or 3 employees. That job of Secretary of State's a full-time job. Wears a lot of hats. We'll cover that on the show. It's political season, y'all, and we got everybody running for office out here, and we will to now between May 19th next year. The Republican primary is tantamount to election in Alabama. Andrew, of course, is a Republican. He's a real Republican. He's very conservative. Andrew, good to have you on the show.
Thank you, Steve. And I enjoy old political stories, so you're the best person in the state to talk to about those.
Been around it a while.
Yes, you have.
You like my book, Goats and Governors, don't you?
I love the book. I think I've read all your books now. I just read your Jabbo Wagner book, so that was fun for me because I actually know Jabbo and served with him, so learned a lot I didn't know about Jabbo.
Jabbo has been in the state Senate over 50 years.
That's incredible.
Can you imagine that?
No,
That's old. You've been born, isn't it?
Well, it is. I'm 39 years old.
What year does that make you be born if you're 39?
I'm 85. I was born in 85.
I was already in the legislature.
Wow.
I went to the legislature in 82 and stayed to 2002.
My wife said, "Can I throw you a 40th birthday party in November?" I said, "Absolutely not. I'm not excited about turning 40. She said, "No, it's going to be a fundraiser for your campaign." I said, "Let's party."
That's funny you bring that up. I went this weekend to Robert Adderholt's.
Yes.
Had a big 60th birthday party for Congress in the 4th district. He's been in the Congress 30 years at the end of this term.
Yeah, he went in at something like 28, 29 years old. He got elected.
He was 30, 31.
He was 30. Okay. I got elected to state legislature at 32. I thought I was early, but nobody beat Robert Adderholt. You can't get elected much younger than that to Congress. You got to be 25.
That's right. He really has. He's done it right. I mean, he went to Congress at 31 years old, and he just turned 60 this July. July 22nd is his birthday. They had a big party for him in Coleman. A lot of people there. By the way, speaking of that, I didn't think about this. He's got Colbert County, his district. He's your congressman.
He is my congressman. He's a good friend of mine, and he bought me several birthday presents. Some of the toasters in my office are from Robert Adderholt. Yeah, he dropped by and said happy birthday.
So y'all are good friends. I didn't think I saw all those guys from Colbert County. I met the nicest guy named Wayland
Hughley.
Yeah, he is so nice. He said he's got my book on his first. He reads it all the time.
Wayland is our Republican Party chairman of Colbert County. He supported me when I ran in 2018 for the legislature, and I put him on the TVA and Lieu Tax Board as my appointee, and he just did a fantastic job, and we're good friends. He's also resolutions chairman for the Alabama Republican Party.
He is one nice guy.
He is.
And he had Underwood with him.
Yeah, the fellow who took my state house seat when I left for auditor, Kerry Underwood, the mayor of Tuscumbia. Yeah, they're good buddies. All of us in that. We're just such good friends.
That's what I did not realize that Colbert County was in. I guess I should have known that. Well, in the old days, Colbert and Lauderdale were in the old 5th district.
That's correct. In 2010, when Mo Brooks was elected to Congress, Colbert County was in the 5th congressional district.
Always
it wasn't until the 2012 race that it swapped.
It swapped 12. So all Adderholt's had them since 2012.
Yes, and then Lawrence County got taken out of the 4th district and put in the 5th. So there's been a lot of changes up there.
Well, Andrew, talking about that, that was old Bob Jones' district. Bob Jones was a congressman for 30 years there, and he came over the other end, Scottsboro, and it came traditionally had always come across the northern belt of the state. But somebody told me up there the other day when I was at his birthday party that he touches 3 states with his congressional district. Did you know that?
That Adderholt does?
He touches. Somehow he touches Mississippi, Tennessee, and
well, he does because
Georgia.
he has part of Lauderdale in his congressional
That's
district.
what it
They
is.
split Lauderdale, so he sure does. The Alabama, Mississippi, and Georgia.
Where's he?
I'm sorry, Tennessee, Mississippi, and Georgia.
Where's he hit Mississippi?
Colbert County.
Oh, so y'all border Mississippi. People don't realize that.
right.
Now, Red Bay and Franklin's not in his district, though, is it?
It is. Franklin County is also in his
In his
district.
district?
It sure is.
Franklin
He runs down the left side of the state there for a few counties down.
He's got, what's the one he gets? He don't get Pickens and all them, does he?
No, he doesn't go that far, but like Lamar, Marion,
He gets
those
Lamar and
areas.
Marion.
Yeah, that's all in District 4.
So
Sure
now
is.
tell me this. Now, you didn't grow up in Colbert, did you?
I did. I grew since I was 5.
I call it Colbert. Isn't that somehow people say, y'all call it Colbert County?
Colbert. Yeah, we do. That's
You
true.
know, Wayland came in, I got to think about, I guess he thought didn't know what I was talking about. I said, and Marcel Black was in the house with me.
Oh yeah.
Marcel's
yeah.
a big Democrat. You're a big Republican.
He was. Well, I replaced Marcel. He was there 28 years.
You followed Marcel's? You got Marcel's
Yeah,
seat?
I got Marcel's old seat. I sure did.
Yeah, I would tell you, I spent the last few, before Judge Heflin died, I spent a week not a week, but a couple of days with him.
No, I know. I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
he knew that book we were talking about, Goats and Governors. He'd heard was writing that book, and he called me up. He liked to call me Tree. I got the nickname of Tree when I was in college, and it stuck. And Tom, his son,
I know Tom.
is a fraternity brother of mine.
Oh,
He's
okay.
5 years younger than me, but he was in the same fraternity in Alabama. And so they all called me Tree from that era. So Judge used to love to call me Tree, and I was one of Heflin's best friends.
Now, when I was running for the legislature, there were rumors that Tom Heflin was going to run against me as a Democrat, and I bumped into him one day, and he said, "Hi, I'm Tom Heflin." That was the first time I'd ever met him. I said, "Oh, hi, Tom." I said, "I heard you're thinking about running against me." He said, "Yeah, that's true. I haven't decided yet." Well, he ended up not doing it, which was good for me. I didn't want to run against the Heflin in Colbert County.
It had changed, though, hadn't it?
It had. The district was beginning to move, but when the Republican before me ran in 2014, they got 40% of the vote, and I got 52%. Now, Carrie Underwood, who came after me, got something like 63%, but remember, that's after we redistricted, so the district changed a little bit.
Is that district just Colbert County?
No, it has a little bit of Lauderdale in it as well.
Okay.
It
hadn't
used to have
changed.
Lawrence. Used to have Lawrence County. When I was represented, I had 3
You had
counties.
Lawrence?
I had North Lawrence County. I had 5 precincts in North Lawrence County, and Proncy Robertson had the rest.
Did you know about all that Terry Fannin reunion?
Yes, because I read your book.
Okay.
Had
Had you known about it? Had it died down before you ran, didn't it?
It had died down, but there was a lady named Amanda Powell Terry running for a judge in 2018. And then I met a Terry. I was over doing a fundraising stop in Town Creek this past weekend, and a guy walked in and introduced himself, and he said he was a Terry. And I thought, well, there's a lot of Terrys in this county.
Andrew, I swear, I served a long time in the House from my county, and the Pike and Dale, and for some reason, that Lawrence, whoever had Lawrence as the main part of their district, they really had a seat to themselves almost for a long time. May still have one. Is Ponce?
It's like that now because Proncy got replaced by Ernie Yarborough.
Okay.
And Ernie's got all of Lawrence and just a sliver of Morgan
That's
County.
what it is. So Lawrence got enough people for a House seat by themselves.
They're all back by themselves now. Yeah.
I would always, but somehow they get in fights about local issues or something, and they'd change House members every 4 years, and be somebody new come down there. As you know, the legislature is not conducive to someone changing every 4 years.
No.
I mean, you got to learn the system.
Takes you 4 years to get your feet under you.
It really does, and so they would come down there and they'd start to visit with me, and I'd say, "Why do y'all change House members every 4 years?" And they'd say, "We get in fights up there." I said, "But I'll ask every one of them, but you're a Terry." My mama was a Terry.
Yeah.
They still had that Terry family. They must have been one heck of a big Terry family.
I think Proncy and Ernie Yarborough are the first two that don't have any kind of Terry connection.
So it's changed.
It took a long time for that to break, but it finally did.
Finally broke then.
Yeah.
Well, let's get back to the state issue. I didn't mean to get off on your area where you're from. But isn't that funny? Have you ever picked up that folks like me from South Alabama call it Colbert County?
I never thought about that.
Have you heard it said both ways, hadn't you?
No, but folks in South Alabama pronounce the name Sorrell instead of Sorrell, like we do up in Colbert County. I'm Andrew Sorrell, but down there they're all Sorrells. They have Representative Jeff Sorrells down there, and there's a Sorrells funeral home down there in Geneva. There's a bunch of. In fact, Mike Hubbard's married to a Sorrell.
I bet you get a good vote out of Geneva County because of that.
I probably do.
Have you ever looked at it and seen?
I did very well in the Wiregrass. You may remember when I ran, it was me and Stan Cook and Rusty Glover on the ballot.
Right.
And we each won our respective areas of the state. but I also won the Wiregrass.
Wonder why that is. You work it or something?
Well, I knew that none of the three of us were from the Wiregrass. Rusty was Mobile, Stan was Birmingham, I was Muscle Shoals, and I thought, none of us are from the Wiregrass. That area is wide open. So I spent a lot of time there, and that South Alabama Liberty group was very supportive of my campaign for auditor. But I wonder if it's not because there's a lot of Sorrells from there.
You didn't go back home every night. You just camp. You stay in a hotel down there.
Oh yeah, I did.
Campaign.
And now I had to buy another house now that I'm auditor, so we got 2 mortgage payments now.
When Hannah is your wife,
yes,
is so sweet. But now, where is she from originally?
New Hampshire.
Tell me the story. Tell our viewers the story about how y'all met.
Well, I married the only Republican in New Hampshire, I think, and I brought her here. But she was in South Carolina going to college, and when she graduated college, she said, well, I'm going to take a trip. You know, she got her master's degree. She's going to take a trip right after college.
Y'all the same age about?
No, I'm actually 7 years older than her.
Okay, so you'd go to college and everything.
I was done with college. I just wanted to take a church history tour.
Were you living in Colbert County?
I was in Lauderdale at the time.
Same thing.
Yeah, the Shoals area. Yeah, I moved across the river there. And I booked this church history tour, which just happened to be through her college.
Y'all in the same religion? What church do you go to?
Yeah, we're Baptists. We're independent Baptists. Yeah, and my family, my sister actually knew Hannah, oddly enough. My sister was Hannah's camp counselor at this music camp she went to in like 2008. So they already knew each other.
She was coming from South Carolina, though.
That's right. Yes. So so a lot of my family attended the same college. I knew they did these trips, so I booked the tour and I met Hannah on a bus in Italy.
Tell everybody, you love to tell that story about how you got married.
So I got on, but
you went after her, didn't you?
At the time, when you're 30 years old, you're ready to get married, you know. So I saw
23.
a pretty girl. She was 23. She was pretty, and I took the seat in front of her, like just 2 weeks before she had graduated. And she taps me on the shoulder and she said, "Do you like politics?" And I
just asked you that out of blue.
Yes, the first question she ever asked me, "Do you like politics?"
How old were you at this time?
I had just turned 30. And I said,
and you're 39 now.
Yes. So we just celebrated our 8-year anniversary. So we got back to America, and I started dating her long distance, and we'd only known each other 34 days, and she calls me up and she says, "Do you mind if I go ahead and pencil us in for June 30th next year to get married? That's the only weekend my church has left."
Was she or her daddy a preacher or something?
No, he is in the ministry. He works at Baptist World Mission now. So, yeah, and he was the pharmacist at that university.
So y'all got married within a year after meeting her, 34 days.
And really, honestly, we'd have been married way sooner than that, but she had just signed a 1-year contract to teach special needs, and I didn't feel right about her breaking her contract to marry me. And I said, no, the Lord knew if you sign that contract, you need to fulfill that. So that's what we did. So we dated long distance for a year, moved back here, and I mean, right when we got home from our honeymoon, we started running for House District 3.
Sooner after that?
Oh, yeah. It was within a couple weeks we were out knocking doors and going to events.
And Marcel was quitting. He was open seat.
No. I actually challenged Marcel. So I ran against him. And then a few months in, then he decided he wasn't going to run again, and he dropped out. So then it became an open seat.
He probably realized the district had changed.
I think there was some of that. And he told me afterwards, I took him out to breakfast. You know, Marcel's a nice guy. I took him out to breakfast, and I said, "I'm just curious, why didn't you run in this race?" And he said, "Well, I got to thinking about it." And he said, I thought I could beat you, but I knew I'd have to knock 10,000 doors to do it. He said, "I'm too old for that."
Marcel and I are the same age.
Really?
Yeah, we served. We went to the no, he came a little bit after me. I came in 82. But we were big friends.
He came in 90. He was there 90 to 2018.
Right. But we went to Boys State together.
Wow.
We're the same age. You know who else went to Boys State with us? Tom Parker.
Really?
He just retired from the Supreme Court. Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. I saw him up at that whole thing.
Yeah, I didn't make it there. I was planning to be there, but just had too much on my plate.
Rick Pate was there. Some other statewide people were there.
I almost always go, but last year he did it in Tuscumbia at Helen Keller's house, which is right by where I live. So
he does it every year.
Every year he does a birthday party. Normally in August, though. He normally does it in August because that's when Congress is on break. But this year they did it much closer to his actual birthday.
You know what he did? He told me he said he was 31. I says, "Robert, when you ran," he said, "I was 31, and me and Caroline asked for $31. That we asked people to give us $31 on my 31st birthday. That first race was, it's hard to raise money your first race for Congress. And I guess it was an open congressional seat. But he also told me something that I'm going to have to write about eventually, is that he, after this term, Andrew, he will have served 30 years, and that will tie the record. The old Bob Jones I'm talking about was in the 5th District for 30 years, but Tom Bevel was in that 4th District for 30 years. He was a very powerful congressman from Jasper. Okay, we've talked about that enough. But let's touch on this about your children, though.
Yeah.
Your oldest child was born, and she knows me when she sees me. Oh, she acts like she does anyway.
First, I don't know. There's some attachment there. As soon as she sees you, it's like you're her grandpa, and she runs up to you and wants to be picked up.
But, I know it. What's her name now?
Liberty is almost 4, and Glory just turned 2. And Steve, I don't know if you know this. You probably do, but we got another one on the way in September.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we're about to have a big family. About to have 3 kids.
Liberty and Glory and 2 girls. Do you know?
We do not know the gender of the third. We're going to be surprised. But we got names ready to go either way, and they may or may not be patriotic. But
when is the baby due?
September the 19th.
Of 2026.
Yeah, well, no, of 25. Yeah, this year. Yeah, so
right around the corner.
We're less than 2 months away.
No wonder Hannah can't get out with you. She got 2 at home, 4 and 2, and then.
I miss having her on the trail with me. She got me more votes than I ever got for myself. When I ran for state house, she knocked all 11,000 doors with me. And it's just different now. Like, she will be at the Alabama Republican Party dinner here in a couple weeks. Like, the big events, she'll still come to.
Yeah.
But, like, tomorrow night, Steve, I've got to speak down in Houston County at 7 o'clock. And then I got to drive back to Muscle Shoals. Yes.
Yeah.
I got a 5-hour drive home, and I got to be somewhere 8 a.m. the next morning. And that kind of stuff doesn't work when you have little kids.
No, it doesn't. It's tough. Now, tell our viewers, I get off on talking about stuff we didn't tell them what you're running for. You're currently state auditor.
Yes.
We're elected 4 years ago, and you're going to move next door, or try to move next door to the Secretary of State. That job, viewers, does a lot more work than anything people realize. Of all the secondary offices, it's got more responsibility and more work than treasurer or auditor, or especially PSC. Has and more lieutenant governor. Well, lieutenant governor has no job.
Lieutenant governor is technically a part-time position. People don't realize that, and he gets paid $71,900 a year. And the other constitutional officers are all full-time positions. But yeah, to your point, Secretary of State has 1,000 duties assigned under Alabama law.
Let's go into some of those and tell our viewers why you want to be that job.
Well, most of them are business services, and I'll touch on that, but I think the thing people care most about with Secretary of State is you're the chief elections official in the state. And that's when I speak, if I speak for 30 minutes, 27 minutes is talking about elections, because that's what the hot topic
That's
is.
what they think about.
Well, I want to partner with more states and expand that Alabama voter integrity database that Wes Allen's got going. You know, he's partnered with 10 states right now, and we share our voter lists with other states, and we look for duplicates, and he's found 40,000 duplicates already on our voter rolls. People who got married, moved away, they don't think to call their board of registrars and deregister themselves from voting. Some of those people are actually voting in 2 states at once. We know of at least 3 who did that in the last election.
They actually go and do vote.
Yeah, some of them are criminally voting in 2 states.
They know they're registered.
That's right, they do. Most people are not like that now. But my goal is to triple the number of partner states. We're going to have 30 partner states in my first 4 years, and then we'll probably find another 80,000 duplicates on our voter rolls. Clean voter rolls is the number one thing you can do to have strong elections.
Now, let me ask you something. Are most of the duplicates of the 80,000, are they in Alabama still? You think somebody registered in Dothan and Scotts and Birmingham?
No. Those all get caught. If you move within Alabama,
you catch those.
Oh yeah, we got a good system for that. Correct.
And those automatically remove you. They're like if you were to move your voting from Muscle Shoals to Montgomery,
then the Montgomery Board of Registrars would notify the Colbert County Board of Registrars to take me off.
And that's working pretty well.
I haven't seen any errors in that system.
Okay.
They're few and far between. But what about when somebody moves from Alabama to Texas? Like I have a friend who got married 5 years ago, moved to Texas, has 3 children, been voting in Texas, still in the Alabama voter rolls today. Well, guess what? We just partnered with Texas. They're now in the AVID database. And when we run that comparison, I guarantee you that registration is going to be found and she's going to be removed from the Alabama voter rolls.
Should be.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you got people who are really truly trying to vote twice.
Well, there are. And that wasn't illegal until
pretty tough thing to drive from
2019.
Tennessee to Alabama to vote, though. I mean, not if you live on the border, though.
Well, true. But you can absentee vote and whatnot. You know,
Oh, that's right.
That's probably how they're doing it. But Chris Blackshear had a bill in 2019 to make it illegal to vote in 2 different states at once. You know, that for the first 200 years of Alabama's existence, that wasn't illegal. I was in the legislature when we passed that bill and made that illegal. So that's step 1. But step 2 is we got to audit our elections. We're one of just 5 states that has no type of post-election audit. Now, Representative Debbie Wood, as you probably know, had a bill the last 2 years, got it through the State House. State House did their job. State Senate has not passed the bill. We got to get that bill through. Every other state, except 4, have some type of post-election audit. So the idea is we're going to hand count some ballots from randomly selected precincts and make sure that that hand count matches what the tabulator says the vote is. Now, this was done on a trial basis in 2022 with a one-time election audit in 3 counties. 2 of the counties, the vote ended up correct. Dallas County, for whatever reason, when they hand counted the ballots, didn't match the tabulator result. It was off by 2 votes. And they counted them 3 times. So if that doesn't scare you, then I say you're not very serious about election integrity. Now, do I think we have widespread problems with these tabulators? Personally, I don't. But the fact is, nobody really knows because we don't audit them.
So that's something you're not doing now that you want to do is audit the ballots.
I've been very outspoken about that. Somebody called me the other day and said, Sorrell, you're not supporting that audit bill, are you? And I said, do you realize you just asked the state auditor if he thought audits were a good idea? Of course I think audits are a good idea. We need to audit our elections too. And then back to business services, we've got to slash fees. See, we are charging $100 to update your business as registered agent. All that is a name and address change. That should be a $10 fee. We're charging $100 for people to close down their entity they're not using. They got a little LLC or S Corp or something. $100 fee to shut down their entity. That should just be free. We got to make business faster and easier than ever before in Alabama.
You bring up that, I don't mean to get back to your roots, but when you ran before you on my show, and didn't you have a gun store?
Yeah, I still own 2 gun stores.
You still are they in both up there in Lauderdale, Colbert?
One of them is I have a gun store on Florence Boulevard in Florence, and then I have one on Highway 72 in Huntsville. I still own and operate those stores.
You got one in Huntsville too?
We do.
Do you have somebody run them for you? Pretty good people?
I have a good business partner, good Republican. He's on the steering committee for the Republican Party, and I trust him. He supports what I do politically, and he says, hey, I'm going to run these stores, and you go worry about politics, and I'll take care of these stores.
That's great.
It's worked out very well for us.
Yeah. Well, that's good. But let me ask you this: back to the Secretary of State, how many employees they got over there too?
Well, they have about 40 right now. Now, when Merrill was Secretary, they had 50. But as people would retire or leave or resign for whatever reason, Merrill wouldn't replace them. So he's able to shrink the office down to 40 employees. And I applaud him on his efforts to shrink the size of government. That's good. But I think one area we could probably use to add about 5 of those back, because I want to form a new division of election integrity. And this division is going to clean up the voter rolls continually. Somebody needs to be checking these things. We need to be doing wellness checks. If you're 108 years old and you're still registered to vote in Alabama, as long as you're alive, that's fantastic. I went to Roy Drinkard's 105th birthday party 2 weeks ago. He's still alive and he still votes. That's fantastic. We love that. But there's a lot of people on our voter rolls that are probably passing away. We got to have people checking and making sure we keep these voter rolls.
Well, how do you do that?
Well, there's many different ways to update the voter rolls. So you get the Social Security Death Index data that flows through. You get national change of address. If people move and fill out the NCOA stuff with the post office, that information will filter through. We even get information from commercially available sources like credit card companies and whatnot. Well, sometimes you can purchase these lists of who has moved. And if somebody, has a credit card they just opened in a new address, that's a pretty good indication that they've moved. Not guaranteed, but it's something you can at least look into. But the Integrity Division is more than just updating the voter rolls. It's investigating voter fraud as well. So, in any given election cycle, there could be 100 or more complaints that come into the Secretary about people trying to cheat. We got to thoroughly investigate those, and if there's something there, let's turn that stuff over to the DAs and the Attorney General, and let's get these people prosecuted. There's a lady down in Mobile that just got arrested. She had voted someone's absentee ballot that wasn't even cognitively aware that what she was voting. She basically took the person's hand and signed their signature to it and voted for them and stuff. We had a Clay County Commission candidate, a Democrat guy who was running, who was purchasing absentee ballots from his friends, voting for himself and mailing the ballots back in. We got to stop that. Those just happened the last couple months.
Used to happen all the time.
Sure.
Back in the old days, that was pretty much the way it was done.
Well, we're a lot better. We're a lot cleaner than we used to be.
You better believe it. I mean, when I first learned about politics, there was, I bet in some rural counties, 20% of the people sold their vote.
Wow.
Openly.
Oh,
for
my
$5
goodness.
and a bottle of whiskey. That was the going price. And they had paper ballots, and they'd sit over here in the corner, and they had the probate judge control the county politics, and he would appoint the people who worked on all the voting places.
Right.
And they would go to their man at the voting place now, Andrew, and say, now I'm gonna vote for you now. What me old people, your
Right.
slate, and
Right.
so what I want my money. and they'd go in there and he'd see how they voted and give them a thumbs up. They walk around the corner and give them the bottle of whiskey and a $5 bill.
Oh my goodness!
When I first was in politics, there was ballot harvesting openly.
Wow.
I mean, you went to a leader in a certain Democratic community, a block, and they were.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. It still ain't going on.
Well, it may be. I've run campaigns, but this was more back in the 2010, 2012 era, and I was managing a campaign, and we had a church come to us and say, if your candidate will come and drop this amount of money in the offering plate, we'll get you all the votes in our church.
Yeah.
We were very offended by that. We said, we would never try to buy your votes. What are you talking about? But apparently they had been doing that for so long. That was just normal. Just here's the amount of money.
It was expected.
Yeah.
I would have old codgers tell me stories about, and they call them money votes.
Wow.
They say, back in 1958 race, I went out and got these votes and bought them out from under him the night before or something like that. They didn't think any of that because that was just the way it was done.
That was how it was done.
So I'm going to tell you, it's a lot cleaner than it used to be.
Well, to your point, Alabama elections have gradually improved over the years, and I want to build on the success that Merrill and West Allen have had. You know, we are ranked number 2 in election integrity nationwide by Heritage. They put out the scorecard. And I could live with being number 2 if it wasn't Tennessee. I can't let Tennessee beat us, and they're ranked ahead of us right now. But if we will implement my election integrity division, if we will watermark our ballots, if we will start auditing our elections, we'll leapfrog them. We'll be back to number 1.
Andrew, talking about that, I don't want to castigate Alabama as being really a bad buying vote state because we didn't hold a candle to places like Chicago and New York.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about election integrity. Alabama's not been on the bottom, and anytime someone talks bad about Alabama, I say go look at Louisiana, New Jersey, and Chicago, Illinois, and you ain't seen nothing. They still do corrupt stuff there.
No, you're right. And we've come such a long way, and I'm proud of where we are. But I'm not satisfied at number 2 because I can sit here and tell you, as I just did, a number of problems, holes in our election integrity process we have in Alabama. Sometimes I look at the rankings and I think, boy, how are we number 2? Like, how bad does Illinois have to be below us, you know? And there's a lot of states, I mean, they don't require a photo ID to vote. They have same-day voter registration. They have these early voting periods for 2 or 3 months. You know, you can postmark your ballot on Election Day, and if it arrives 10 days later, that's fine. It still counts. Very laissez-faire approach to elections. I'm not for any of that stuff. You know, we vote in person on Election Day with a photo ID on a paper ballot in Alabama. Those 4 things are what I call the election integrity pillars. And there's bills introduced every year to change or undermine our good system that we have. And I won't let that happen as Secretary. We're going to kill all those bad bills.
Well, good. Well, I hate to tell you, our time's up. It goes by in a hurry, doesn't it?
It sure does. Always enjoy being with you, though.
Thank you. Folks, our guest tonight has been Andrew Sorrell, who will be on the ballot May 19th. 2026 in the Republican primary for Secretary of State of Alabama. He's currently state auditor and trying to move next door to Secretary of State. We thank you, Andrew, for being with us, and we thank you, viewers, for watching. Hope you tune in again next week for Alabama Politics.
This has been Alabama Politics with Steve Flowers, a production of Troy University Television. Opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of Troy University, its administration, faculty, staff, or students.